Sabrina Carpenter's Juno phenomenon began as a simple choreographic moment, but gradually turned into one of the most talked about internet trends in contemporary pop music. The song Juno, released on her 2024 album Short and Sweet, is clearly sexually charged and is interpreted as a direct reference to pregnancy, especially linked to the 2007 film Juno, which tells the story of an unexpected teenage pregnancy. In the song, as public sources point out, Sabrina uses the line, "Make me Juno," which plays on the idea of "make me pregnant," turning the reference into a provocative cultural joke. This openness is not just meant to shock, but instead shows how modern female artists express sexuality as part of identity rather than a taboo. Carpenter does this through irony, humor, and theatrical exaggeration. The Short and Sweet tour became the platform where Juno evolved into a live experience. Before the song begins, a performative ritual takes place on stage. Sabrina pulls out pink cuffs, often from a small case on stage, and hands them to a fan. Meanwhile, a phrase flashes across the big screen, "under arrest for being too hot." The atmosphere becomes a playful parody of flirtation and crime, framing sexuality as both humorous and theatrical. This moment serves two functions. It builds a theatrical intro that highlights the comic exaggeration of sex appeal, and it sets the audience up for the next part, the now famous Juno poses. When the song begins, Sabrina strikes a new physical pose. She may perform it lying on the stage floor, kneeling, leaning back, lifting her hips, splitting her legs, or making acrobatic-styled movements. The important detail is that the pose changes almost every concert, so fans never know what they are about to see. According to online documentation of the tour, over a span of months, she performed around 25 pose variations, which fans record, photograph, compare, and catalog on social media. Each pose carries a slightly different tone, sometimes exaggeratedly seductive to the point of humor, sometimes more artistic and controlled like a theatrical sculpture, and at other times playfully acrobatic, proving that these are not spontaneous gestures, but purposeful choreographic choices. The key to this performance is that the poses are not presented as straightforward sexual gestures. Instead, Sabrina appears to be mocking the very idea of sexualization in pop culture. The lyrics and the poses together suggest that Carpenter is fully aware of how much attention audiences give to sex appeal, so she delivers it magnified to an absurd, ironic level. Watching these moments, one sees not simply an attempt to provoke, but a commentary on provocation itself as a commercial weapon in pop culture. Each Juno pose becomes a shared ritual for audiences. Capturing the unique pose at your concert becomes a kind of trophy, something to upload, share, and compare, making the fans part of the performance. It is the audience reaction that turned Juno poses from a stage move into an internet phenomenon. Fans began making collages, meme charts, ranking lists, and even Pinterest boards dedicated only to the poses, treating them as an aesthetic collection, like erotic theatrical art mixed with humor. In doing so, Carpenter created not just choreography, but a living tradition in which each concert contributes a new part, and the fans become archivists of a cultural moment. The phenomenon is not universally praised. Some critics argue that such erotic playfulness could be too explicit, especially because Sabrina has a notable young fan base. However, this criticism only highlights the duality of the performance. What some see as playful empowerment, others view as unnecessary sexualization. And it is precisely this tension that gives the performance real impact. Sabrina chooses not to be modest, but to openly confront what pop culture constantly displays, the spectacle of sexuality. She does so with humor, irony, and total self-awareness, using her body not as an object, but as a tool of commentary. In this way, the Juno poses are not just choreography, but a series of cultural reflections in which Carpenter uses her body to provoke, tease, and talk about the very thing that the pop world loves to consume, but rarely questions.